that's the segment Anuma-san is going to join us. Now, in the last few segments, we've given you a little bit of a taste of what you're going to find in the plateau. During this segment, we're actually going to take a little bit of a stroll around the outer edge, though, so we can see what kind of stuff we're going to be running into later on in the game.
で今回は大地の周りの方ですね、をちょっと探索してみましょう。はい。
下手ですね。
ああ、言われました。
Hey Chico, you're not.
なんでそんなツッコミするん
You're
で
not
すか。
very good at this.
And folks who are maybe just tuning in, this is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And yeah, wow. That's
It's
just
amazing
a cool
view.
horizon.
すごい綺麗な景色です。
There's another tower.
あれ、向こうにあのタワーかな。
I was wondering, Anuma-san, if you could talk to us a little bit about the different challenges that your team faced realizing a world of this scale.
こんなに大きい世界を作るっていうので、開発側で直面した難しさ、なんか難しい体験とかそういうものはありますでしょうか。
やっぱり広い世界でもね、ただただ広いだけじゃなくて、で今回登ってまたそこから飛び降りるみたいな遊びができますから、要所要所のそういう高い場所を用意して目指したくなるようなものをその周りに置いていくっていうね、そういう構造をとってますよね。
So it's a huge world, but we also wanted to create this vertical world as well, where Link will climb up high, and then where he can see these buildings or elements that are surrounding him. And we wanted to create something, an environment where he wanted to, like, we wanted to create something that he would want, and the player would want to go and search.
Incredible the different terrain that we see here.
こうやって望遠鏡で見るとね、あそこ行ってみたいなっていう場所がいろいろあるっていうのがいいですよね。
So the greatest thing about this is that when you use a telescope and look afar, you can see all these landmarks or elements that you want to go and check out.
今ビルはマーキングをしましたけど、あ、こんな遠いところですね。
So Bill just dropped a pin, but as you can see, it's really far from where you're standing.
There's still more things to do behind that red pin too. That's how big that world is.
後ろにも結構まだまだマップの領域が
ありますね。
Yeah, that's right, Chico. There's a lot more you can do.
I think really, I mean, even within the plateau, it's like less than 2% of what people are going to experience in this game, which is kind of hard to wrap your brain around, but it's...
で今回E3 版では実際にプレイヤーが体験できるその製品版の 2% ぐらいの領域しか行けないという。
そうですね。
Yeah, that's right.
I'm seeing a rather large lake over here out in the sun.
随分大きい湖が右手に見えてきましたけど。
There's some, and we've also obviously seen a volcano off in the distance.
で、はるか向こうには火山も見えてます。
And this time we see the Twin Peaks that were in the original NES artwork as well.
で、オリジナルのバージョンにもあった二つ山も背景に見えます。
広い世界を作るにあたってはね、やっぱり過去からこういろんな世界をハイラルっていうのは何度も何度もこう僕らクリエイトしてきてるんですけど、その中の要素をやっぱりこうまた反映してね、広い世界を作ってるんですね。
So when we created this huge world, we made sure that we added these elements from the old Hyrule world, and then made sure to put them in.
It's interesting seeing here on this edge of the plateau that we're exploring, there's some really interesting structural elements that are there, these ruins that kind of make up the outer edge of the plateau.
この大地の橋の部分にはなんか遺跡っぽい感じのこういう構造物があります。それがすごく興味深いですね。
冒頭のシーンでもね、誰も寄りつけないような場所っていうふうに言ってるんですけど。逃げて。
Bill, run, Bill. Oh, it's close.
でちょっと今ガーディアンっていうやつと戦いになっちゃった。
So sorry, I started talking about the. I started to answer your question, but Bill just got into a Guardian battle.
ガーディアンとの戦いが出るけど、僕もなんか気持ちがこうドキドキしちゃうんで。
So whenever I see anybody battling Guardians, I kind of get really excited and nervous too.
この場所はね、その聖域なんですね。人が近づけない。ってことはまあ魔物も近づけない。そういう聖域だったはずなんですけどね。
So this area is supposed to be a sacred area where people can't easily come, nor any type of monsters.
でもいますよね。
そう今やそういうのがいるっていうことはじゃあどういうことなんだってことですよ。
すみませんね。
And then, but now they actually do exist. So the story is what's going on here.
That
And
looks
obviously,
like
we
that is-
see the castle off in the distance, and down below we can see some more ruins. You see these flags blowing in the wind.
で下の方には遺跡だったり、ああいう旗が見えますね。
はい
However, one of the things that you're not seeing here in the E3 version are any towns or any other characters, and there's a very specific reason for that. It's because we very specifically here at E3 don't want to go into story details and character details that might spoil the game for people. So rather than showing that off, we're focusing here on the E3 version. But I do want to reassure everyone that there are towns in the game. Once you get out into the world, you will encounter other people, and you can look forward to finding out more about their stories and the role that they play in this adventure.
今回 E3 版ではネタバレ防止のためにキャラクターだったり村だったりっていうものを入れることはなるべく控えるようにしたので、このような感じになりましたけども、ファンの皆様にはぜひお伝えしたいのがキャラクターだったり村っていうものはこの世界にも存在するということをぜひ、
ね、そこはゼルダなんで、
Of course, this is Zelda.
What's interesting, actually, thinking about the conversation we had with Miyamoto-san a little earlier about how it was a very conscious decision with the original Legend of Zelda game to hold off on revealing much about the story and just dropping you into the experience. But it does make it a little challenging when you're talking about this game, because as much as it'd be great to talk about the story, it's really one that's best experienced organically when you just go through it and then get those little bits and pieces for yourself. So if we tell you everything, it kind of takes away from the joy of experiencing it.
We have to
ゲ
save
ー
the
ムの良さ
surprise.
は自分で、ちょっとずつプレイして自然にだんだん自分のペースでストーリーというものをどんどん把握していく見つけていくっていうことがすごく楽しいゲームなので、もう私たちの方でこういうふうにやってストーリーとかネタバレをしてしまうとユーザーさんの方もちゃんとした体験ができないので、これはとても大切なことなんです。
今回ね特に徐々にこの世界が一体どういうものなのか、例えばリンクが今なぜここにいるのかとかそういうことが徐々に分かってくるようになってるんで、それも言っちゃったらね全然面白くないですから。
So it won't be fun if I told you why Link is here or why the story is the way it is, because the players are going to find it a little by little as they play. So I really want to not spoil your fun. I want to make sure that I don't spoil your fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping folks will trust us when we just say it's cool. Just wait and see, it's really cool. But for now, we'll just stick to what we're able to show.
I like this structure. I don't know what this is. Used to be a gate, maybe?
So I wonder, Aonuma-san, if we could talk a little bit more about the challenges as far as approaching difficulty in a game like this. When you have a non-linear progression, you can't control where people are going to go or what they're going to do here.
プレイヤーの方々がプレイしているときにここに行けっていうようなコントロールができない、このようなオープンエアの自由な選択肢がたくさんある世界っていうのを作る際にどのようなことを注意されて作られるんでしょうか。
僕自身がね昔ゼルダを作ってた時っていうのはその世界で迷わないようにこっちに行ってあっちに行ってっていうのを全部入れてったそういう構造にしてったんですね。
So when I created Zelda games in the past, I made sure that I put a thing here or a thing there so people won't get lost.
ただこのゲームをある程度作ってきた過程の中で自分で遊んでみるとちょっとその世界で迷ったりしても自分がそっちに行って迷ってるんだから嫌じゃないんですよ。
So when I started developing this game and then I started playing it myself, I realized that whenever I get lost, it's actually not a bad experience because I'm the one that decided to go that way and then get lost. So it's just it worked out very well.
決められた道にしかなくてそこがなかなか見つからないっていうのはもうすごく嫌な感じなんですけど、自分で自由に行ってもしかしたらこっちかもしれないっていうその探索みたいなのが延々続いていくんですね、そっちの方が。それが面白いと思いました。
So when there's a set path and the players can't find that path, it gets really frustrating. But when it's an open air, when there's a world like this, a huge world where players can pick and choose where they want to go, it's really not a bad experience. And then it actually adds another layer of fun.
It doesn't feel like I'm lost. I'm just like doing the long route to get to my destination and then just enjoying more things to do.
なんか迷うっていうよりも目的地にちょっと遠回りしたっていうような感じがあって、全然ネガティブな気はしません。
そうですよね。逆になんか近道しちゃったぞって時もあったりとかするんで、すごく自分でこう決めるってことはすごく重要なポイントだなと思いますね。
And then on the other hand, sometimes you will find a shortcut. And then so it's really important that the players are able to find their own path and then choose their own path.
Now the other thing that we notice as we start to climb around the outer rim of the plateau here is the way that the geology changes out in the world as well. Take care of a few keys right there. Get those out of the way. But clearly you have sort of separated from the plateau that we're on is sort of this other rocky high point here. And then I think as we get kind of closer to the mountains on the other side, we'll get a look at some other terrain that we don't see in other parts of the world.
ここの端っこの方を大地の端っこを歩いていくといろいろな地形というものが見えてきまして、で今までいたエリアからこう比べてみますと、こういうふうな岩のゴツゴツした山だったり、あと遥か遠くにはまた違った地形っていうものが見えてきます。
Sunrise.
So beautiful.
セントラルハイラルって、ここの地名は言ってるんですけど、だから周りにあるのはその中央に向かっていろんなね地方があって、これ昔ハイラル平原というのがあって、その周りにこう地方がこうあるみたいな構造とちょっと似てるんですけど。
So we call this the Central Hyrule, and then as you can see, there's a lot of different areas and districts that surround it, and then it's kind of similar to what we've created in the past as well.
なのでこのリンクはこの大地から飛び降りるんですが、その先にどこに行くかは本当に自由なんです。
So eventually Link will jump off of this plateau, but wherever the player wants to go is up to them. They can choose wherever they want to jump from.
And what's interesting is that actually choosing where to jump off the plateau will have an impact on what you experience next in the world, because the plateau itself is so big, and jumping off on one side of it, is going to leave you obviously in a very specific area, and it may not be the area that you're actually hoping to get to. It just depends on where you decide to jump down.
大地自体がとても大きいので、そのプレイヤーが飛び降りようとした場所によって、体験がそれぞれいろいろなまた体験ができる。で本当に例えば行きたかったところとは反対側のところにたどり着いてしまうかもしれないけど、それもまた醍醐味の一つ。
So it's important to have the warp spot opened up so you can travel between the different warp spots. But I think they'll usually avoid opening up those warp spots, so it make it harder for you.
ワープできるそういうポイントっていうのはちゃんとアンロックする必要がありますね。でビルはアンロックしたがらないから。
そう、ここら行きたがらないタイプなんで、後で自分が苦労するっていう。
なんでそんなことするの
I actually, when I first jumped off the plateau playing back at the office, I went all the way to the far side of the map without checking any of the shrines of trials and without opening any of them up, so that by the time I got to the far side of the map, I realized it was going to take me a while to get back.
ビルが初めてプレイした時に祠に全然入らなかったので、これマップの一番最後向こう側何があるんだろうって走ってったら、これ戻るのにまた同じぐらいの時間かかるんだなっていうので、かなりびっくりしました。
100人いれば 100通りのプレイの仕方があるという、ビルのやり方は普通のやり方じゃない。
As I said before, I'm a little reckless.
So there is 100 ways for 100 players to play, and there's
I won't choose that way.
There's a way for Bill to play this game.
And that's just been very interesting at the office, watching other members of your dev team play this game and seeing all the different approaches that they have personally as they try out the game and try out different areas.
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Oh, sure, sorry. I was just saying that it's got to be pretty educational to watch how different members of the dev team play this game as they're playing at the office as well, with how many different approaches there are.
で開発チームの中で皆さんがいろいろなプレーの仕方っていうのをしてると思うんですけれどもそういうのを見るのでもこういう風なプレーの仕方があるんだなっていうような毎回学ぶっていうようなことはありますか？
そうなんですよ、僕にね、すべてのね、その隠してある操作とか教えてくれないんですよ。例えば敵と戦う時も、多分ね、もうちょっとなんか技があるんですよね。だけど僕全部多分知らないですね。
So they actually hide these like hidden controls for me, and then so when I'm fighting an enemy, I know that there is a control that would be able to defeat these enemies really easily, but for some reason they hide it from me.
They
just don't tell him.
で陰でちょっとクスクス笑ってる感じですか？
そうです。
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're getting into an area where I like to step out, take a look around. This is sort of the part of the game that reminds me a bit of Utah.
でここはビルのお気に入りの場所でここからいろいろ景色を見るのが好きなんだけどもその理由の一つとしてはユタ州っぽい。はい。Did you see what it was? What that thing was at the bottom?
Oh yeah, it looks like a little shrine down there.
祠っぽいですね。
ほらっぽいね。
Yep, that's right.
I can only imagine how many things are hidden in the cliffs as well. Every time you look at a new vista, you're just like, oh, there's stuff to find.
周りを見ると峠とか岬なんかを見るとあそこにも隠れてるんじゃないかっていうような気がしてたまらないんですよね。
Nice.
うまい。
Nice.
Anuma-san, could you tell us a little bit more about I guess the challenges involved for the dev team with creating the AI for this game, because we've got so many interesting interactions with how the monsters and the different animals in the environment interact with the weather and the time of day and everything else that's going on, even if Link's not really doing anything to them.
今回そのモンスターの動きだったり天気だったりすごくいろんなAI の部分での開発っていうのが
何やってる
興味深いものになっていると思うんですけれどもそこら辺の開発ケアみたいなと教えていただけないでしょうか。
そうですね。このモリブリンっていうのはいつもここ最近のゼルダのタイトルの中に必ず雑魚敵って言いますけど出てくる敵でまずこの敵から設計に入ってくるんですね。この敵で何がどこまでできるだろうかってでやりすぎてもちょっとあれだしでもちょっと人間味のあるようなことをやってるみたいなそういうモンスターにするとちょっとこういたずらっぽくやってみようかみたいな気持ちを生まれたりするのでただただ怖いだけじゃなくてちょっと面白いっていうものになるっていうね。
So these bokoblins you see here are what's considered to be maybe more the weaker enemies in this game, but it's really fun to add a little bit of like personality to them, make them a little bit mischievous, give them a little personality. So when you're interacting with them, it adds another layer to the whole experience.
They scratch their butt, then they scratch their armpit, and then they eat something. It's just I don't know what
な
they're
ん
eating,
か
but
脇の下に手突っ込んでなんかちょっと食べる仕草っていうのがあるんですけどあれは一体何なんですか？
僕もすごくわからない。
I actually don't know that either.
Oh, I think we caught it at the office. Nick was talking about. He's like, "Do you know what the bokoblins do?" Oh my gosh!
結構オフィス内でもボコブリンの変な仕草っていうのが話題になってます。
性格出てますよね。
なんか、どうなんですか。
So this was
猿とかこういろいろね、動きをよく見たりとかしたんじゃないですかね。
So maybe they referenced it from other animals and kind of
Like
observed
monkey?
it, yeah, and then try to add that element in.
So that was over there was a little tree fort that we just explored and defeated. It's actually a fairly small one, but when you get off of the plateau, you start to come across bigger tree forts with more enemies and certainly more challenging enemies. And those tree forts tend to be places where you're going to find more powerful weapons, some better treasures and things like that. And so there's really a lot that's waiting off of the plateau for you. And I'm going to eat some food
Yeah, I
here
don't think you have
so
to
that we can
those,
continue to explore the outer rim before we get a look at a few other things, which we're going to show in video form in a little bit.
大地を降りていくと、まあ、いろいろともっと強い敵だったりとか、いろいろなまた違ったものを発見できたり、そういうものに遭遇していく。
So I was curious when when Miyamoto-san stopped by earlier, we were talking about his childhood love of hiking and how that really fed into the original Legend of Zelda and the work he's done here. Is that a hobby that you guys share? Have you been doing some hiking yourself to get ready for this game?
先ほど宮本さんがいらっしゃった時にハイキングをされているっていう話になって、そのハイキングをすることがいろいろな作られたゲーム初代のゼルダなんかにも影響を与えているっていうようなお話を伺ったんですけども、青沼さんご自身はそのようなことをされてハイキングとか行かれたりするんですか？
一緒に行ったりするんですか？
あんまりボスとねハイキングしてる社員っていないんじゃないですか。
I don't think there's too many people that go on hiking trips with their bosses.
僕はねハイキング田舎が長野県っていう山がたくさんあるね、逆に海ないんですけど、なのでちっちゃい頃からよく山には登りました。
I'm from an area called Nagano Prefecture, and then Nagano actually is not surrounded by any water, and there's a lot of mountains. So growing up, I climbed a lot of mountains.
This actually looks kind of like Yarigatake in Nagano.
It kind of looks like Yarigatake Mountain here.
でもね僕ね実はそんな田舎が大嫌いで都会に行きたかった。
And I actually hated that countryside growing up, so I really wanted to go into the city.
だから大自然とか言ってんだけど意外ともっと都会の方がいいのにとか思いながらやってるから。
でもこれを見たら長野に帰りたいと思うでしょ？
まあちょっとね。
So I created this world, a big, huge nature and the wilderness, but I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head, like I've always been a kind of a city-loving boy.
Well, this is a good way to explore and never leave the comfort of home.
僕がちっちゃい頃このリングみたいにどこでも登れる力があったら多分大好きだと思う。
And then if I had the power, like Link here, to be able to climb anywhere that I wanted, then I probably would have loved nature more.
今からでも遅くない。頑張りましょう。
What do you think, Bill? Where are we going to head?
Well, I think what we're going to do is I'll climb up this way and see if I can, it's been a while since I've been skiing, that being June and all, I was going to do some quick shield surfing down the mountain, and then we were going to take a look at some videos that Aonuma-san brought.
Oh, that's right.
That are going to take us actually off the plateau for the first time here at E3. Is that correct, Aonuma-san?
でまずはビルの方でシールドサーフをして、でその後に青沼さんが今回持ってきていただいた映像の方をご紹介いただけるということで、この映像にはこの大地を飛び降りた後、何があるのかっていうものが紹介されているとのことですが。
See,
はい。
Bill always ski. He doesn't snowboard. There's a reason for it. So
ビルはスキー派でスノボー派じゃないんですけども、それにはこのような理由があって。
they maybe spotted you.
That is the perfect time to go to video.
Oh,
で
that sounds good.
ゲームオーバーになったということで、では次は映像のご紹介。
そうですね。パラセールでね、大地以外のところを飛んでる映像です。
はい、
これね、ビルが言ってた双子山です。
So this right here is the Twin Peaks that Bill was talking about earlier. I'll be paragliding all around the
ちょ
area.
うど大地を逆から見てるんです。
So you're actually looking at the plateau from the other side here.
It's an amazing view.
はい、次はね、ユタ州。
So this is what Bill calls Utah.
Hello, Street Pass Utah friends.
So interesting. Just, even from this height, I'm seeing so many things that I want to explore down there.
この高さからでも、ここ行ってみたいな、あそこ行ってみたいなっていうようないろいろなロケーションが見えます。
Link has different hairstyle too.
なんかリング髪型が違う。
ちょっと服もまた違ってるのを見てます。
And then he may have different clothes on here too.
こ このね、
wow.
本当にダイビングする感じがね、結構気持ちいいんですよ。
So this, what you see like a little diving sequence is actually really fun to do.
で、ほら今、BGM がガッてきたでしょ。もう気持ちがガッてくるね。
And it says you heard that little song there. You know, like how you it really touches your emotions.
It's open air music. It's very nice.
はい。で、雪山ですね、これはね、すごい吹雪。
This right here is this very snowy mountain.
The music is different too.
また音楽はここでも違いますね。
Yeah, I really love how with the audio, you get such a sense of presence in the environment
player is
because
doing better.
you're hearing little bits of music, but you're more often paying attention to the animals, the sounds of the wind in the trees, and it really immerses you in this experience.
Nice.
自然のその環境音、いろいろな動物の足音だったり、風の音だったり、そういうものが本当にゲームプレイにさらなるまた新たな一面というか、新たな要素を追加してくるので、すごいその点が面白いです。
はい。そしたら最後にもう一つ取っときの
Yes.
So I have another treat for you guys.
今そこに出てますけど、ガーディアンね、さっきも言ったこいつと戦うシーンに入るともうドキドキする。さあ始めましょう。
So Guardian that you saw on the big screen.
E3
right
版とは
here.
違って足を持ってバーッと追っかけてきます。
So unlike the one you see in the E3 version, it actually the legs move and it comes after you.
はい。
あれに複数追いかけられると怖いんですよね。
そうですね。
Whoever did this is a very good shot.
It's amazing.
これを今打ってる人かなり上手なプレー。
上手ですね。
Oh wow.
He makes it look easy, but I don't think it's that easy.
なんか随分簡単に見えますけども、全然簡単じゃないですね。
そうですね。スタッフの中でもゲームプレイすごい上手い人が撮ってくれたんで、こういう綺麗な感じになってます。多分途中でバーってやられて。
私は完全に死んでますね。
So I had one of the staff members that is really good at gameplay had played this game, so I can take a footage.
Yeah, well, Link is supposed to represent the Triforce of courage. I have not yet had the courage to try to defeat a Guardian.
ちょっとまだガーディアンを倒す勇気というものをまだ私は
リンクのようにはないそうです。
そうないです。
だずっとゲームを続けてきたら、あ、いけそうって思うようになって。
You just continue playing, and then one day you'll feel like you're ready to go.
You get there.
When you do it, can you call us in your office so we can watch? Because I want to see how this goes. I think it's going to be intense.
できるようになったらビルのオフィスに呼んで見せてください。
So there, Anuma-san, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? We've got, I think, a little bit of time left before we have to head out.
もしアヌマさんの方からまた何か他にもファンの方々に紹介したい内容ですとか要素なんかがあればお話しいただけますでしょうか。
いやもうね、言いたいことは山ほどあるんですけど、この2人に止められてますから。
二人に
There's a lot that I really want to share, but these two are holding me back.
Wait a
from sharing
minute.
you
Yes, you
information.
should say things like that. People are gonna start sending me.
でもね、今回その E3 版でリンクができることっていうのは、まず基本のことはね、体験してもらえると思うんですけど、まだまだもう先にいろんなものがあるので、ぜひそれは製品版を期待してほしいと思いますね。
So I think you could get the basic experience from the E3 version, but please do understand that there's a lot more waiting for you with the release version.
Excited. Hopefully soon we'll be able to share more details and little bits as we go. But Anuma-san, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time here. I know you must be extremely busy here at the show, but it was really great to see you again. And everybody else, please come back soon. We'll be getting some more gameplay going. Thank you for joining us. Folks are watching again. That was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is going to be coming out for Wii U and then next year. And stay tuned. Actually, we've got kind of a cool surprise coming up next. We've been given special permission to check out a couple of shrines that are off the plateau. So we're actually going to take a little bit of adventure down that way ourselves.
That's
so,
right. There's four shrines on the plateau here in the E3 version. And I think we're going to take a look at maybe two more that are not available on the show
Elsewhere.
floor version and that no one has
Yeah.
seen before, and that'll be coming up in the next segment.
yes, so please stay tuned and thanks so much for joining us.
ありがとうございました。
To